So that was it from my end for this today. And now, enough of presenting. I can take up any kinds of questions, and it can be personal, direct, indirect, anything more if you want to know about your setting your goals, picking companies, or placements in general. You can throw them up right here. You can either type or just switch on your mic and go for it. Yes. Yes, they are sort. Live projects are certainly counted as building up your profile, and yet my recommendation will be to go for few specific live projects as well as go for a project wherein you have a significant involvement rather than just considering a piece of paper, so that you it works as a litmus test for your career. It gives you good enough experience and talking points as well as fills up your CV. So you should try to kill all the three birds with a stone. Sorry. Okay. So you can approach people. However, people do not really have existing projects. If they would have had existing projects, they would already be rolling them out. So a great way that you can be is talking to people, understanding things from them, building a relationship, and asking them that if I can contribute in some way or the other, please let me know. And since you're from HR, you should try and understand the subdomains in HR, and approach people for a specific domain, that okay, I want to learn more about this domain, mail for example, recruiting, or maybe talent management or HRBP, whatever. You should understand the smaller parts of it, and then you can start talking to people about it. And once you build a rapport relationship with them, then you should ask for a project. If you ask for a project, a lot of people are unlikely to even respond to you directly. Can you give example of hooks you used in a part of your interview? Right. Okay. So if I were to tell you about hooks, then my introduction was a lot about you usually ask that what, tell me something in your about yourself which is not there in your CV. So I used to start with that I am an influencer on Instagram, followed by that I am an active writer on LinkedIn and I have experience in content. So these are my two concrete points. The hooks I used to leave that I have written copy for 2 months for Vicom, and I have done primary research, and I'm very interested in that field. So I have not told them what topic I have done research on. I have not told them what is anything about my research, and that's something which they're already interested in. And the other part that I've done copywriting for Vicom. They have no idea what type of copywriting I have done and for what channel, which period, nothing about it. But that's something, there's a brand out there, there is an activity out there which is a part of marketing. As you may know, that copywriting is extremely important in marketing. So I used to leave these two hooks on most places, and depending on companies, used to shift those things or maybe talk about something else depending on the role and the kind of company. So I wanted them to ask questions about it, and I was very well prepared about those. So these were the hooks which I used. Okay, how to convert sales profile job in marketing domain, Yathansh. Right. Yathansh, converting a sales profile job, you have to follow those five basic questions and you have to be extremely well prepared about them. If you are sure that you will be good at sales, you will have to generate proof that you are good at sales. How will you do that? That will be through internship, that will be through sponsorship that you crack, or if you start your own small little venture and then you are able to achieve sales through it, or you have a great rapport in terms of interpersonal communication and you have some credentials about that. A lot what happens in a sales profile job is very often they ask you to sell you stuff, and you should know how to sell things from a pin to a piano, and specifically the products or services which are related to the company. In this new era, cold calling will be a very significant part of any kind of sales job interview. So you have to very clearly look at that. And while you can also look at digital sales, that how you can push direct sales through digital platforms. So this is what I would recommend you to be on point with. And more specificity into sales we can be added or to this when we can take this discussion where everybody can contribute who have experience in the Telegram group. Yeah, so any other questions? Your thoughts on changing profile from FMCG to consulting? Okay, so actually, Adhan, the point is that FMCG and consulting both are industries which are high on diversification. How are they different? FMCG is very focused in this sense, but it is focused a lot on foundational skills, be it sales or marketing. FMCG makes you really put your head to it because most of the time you are selling to the bottom of the pyramid. If not, you are trying to maximize sales. While what happens in consulting and what makes it really diverse is that you will get projects across verticals. In FMCG, you are likely to work with the uh, point of sale managers, or which is like the retailers and other points of sale. However, in consulting, you work at the complete opposite end, which is with the CEOs. Changing from FMCG to consulting is pretty much shifting from root to the top. However, both of them build your foundation significantly well to adjusting the other. As I said, both of them are diversificationally open profiles and industries, so it should not be a problem from switching from one to the other. Right, any other questions do we have? Okay, I'm assuming no more questions. So, thank you everyone for staying in. Yeah, Mangesh. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. So case discussion is something which you have to filter people accordingly on the basis of the conversations you have with them. Right? A lot more than 10, 11 people can discuss on a case together, otherwise it will be pure chaos. And you are saying that the environment in your college is not as vibrant as you may like, then my recommendation to you, my friend, is that be the vibrance. Be the person that puts in the energy and lightens everybody's life. Be the person who motivates people to, make Dare to Compete their most visited website. Be the person who, asks people to join in and lead the bandwagon. I think this can actually be a great opportunity for you to grow as a person as you take the lead and start doing such activities. As I mentioned throughout the presentation, that case studies become very important because they help you with the problem solving skills. And while doing cases, you will get a lot of valuable information and insights which you may not get just by plain reading or by attending classes. So it helps you on both kind of aspects, both hard and soft skills. And when you go out to present these cases in a competition, it will push you even further. So you start discussing with the group, and eventually, when you go for the competitions, it'll actually be two, three, or maximum four people. And try to do it with your people who you find are friendly enough, who will actually give in time. And you have to make that assessment and be flexible. It's not that you pick a team and that's your team forever. Be flexible to changing that with time. Right, I think we are done for the day. And thank you so much for joining in and also asking those questions.